Hey everybody, it's been a while since I made a video. I obviously, if you watch my videos, which is like 3 of you, you saw my last video of my international on the dyno. So I figured I'd do a little bit of a detailed walk around and kind of show you what I've done since the old inline 6 crapped out on me. It was actually kind of fun. I was on the highway with that engine and cruising right along, having a blast, and then the throttle stopped working. And it turned out the heat from the exhaust manifold had melted the throttle cable. So I had to pull off on the highway, pop the hood, see what was going on, saw that. And then I had an open flame from oil puking out of the engine from what I'm pretty sure was a broken piston, creating a shiz ton of back pressure, or crankcase pressure, I should say. And it pushed a bunch of oil out on the exhaust manifold. Literally had an open flame on the side of the road. I was freaking out, blowing on it as best I could. You know, beat on it, got the fire out, and was able to save the truck, but unfortunately the engine is toast. So I, you know, over the last few months, I pulled that out, been working on this swap, and as you saw in the dyno, it made about 430 horsepower, I think it was. That was on 7 pounds of boost, and this here is what did it. The little 5.3. My buddy hooked me up. My buddy Ian set me up with this literal junkyard 5.3. I mean, it is full of rust. It looked gross. I didn't think it was actually gonna run when I got it back together, but thankfully we got it running. I put just a little LS2 cam in it, stock valve springs, stock push rods, nothing fancy at all. That is the same turbo that was on the inline 6. Exact same turbo. Same blow-off valve even. She's tucked down there. It's a intercooler there that I got from my buddy Matt Crump. We did a trade deal months ago. I was actually going to put it on the Mudblood Cobra because it's a little bit bigger intercooler, but I thought this truck deserved it. Let's use it here, and it's been awesome. I like it's kind of blacked out. You can't see it through the grill. It's just black in there, so it kind of hides it. My buddy Brock hooked me up with this spare radiator that we had to shop, and that's an old, if you're familiar, Fox Body guys used to run these Black Magic fans. It's just a cheap little single electric fan. So the controller stuff used to be kind of there. I bypassed all that and just put a relay. It's controlled by a LS1 style computer, all 24X stuff. Literally the only thing brand new on this whole build was the intake manifold, throttle body, and rails. Was a kit I got on Amazon, and then I did a bunch of fuel system parts, return regulator and line, also from Amazon. And to feed it, I had to modify the tank that I put under here. It's an old 60s Mustang fuel tank, and I built a little sump for it. I cut it out and I welded on a little box that I built out of some sheet metal, and made a -10 feed to the A1000 pump, also hooked up from my buddy Matt Crump. And so it's got a -8 feed from the pump with a -6 return. And it's kind of funny, I did all PTFE line on this. Again, Amazon parts. Even my race car doesn't have PTFE. It's just the cheapest hose I found at the time. So it's a little fancier than my race car in some areas. One of the cooler parts of this truck is actually the transmission. Again, my friend Brock, freaking badass friend, hooked me up. You can see I cut a hole through the floor here. I did a shifter relocation. This is a T56 that it needed a little bit of work. Fixed it up. I did a shifter relocation. This is the forward hole. I believe it's where the Viper transmission uses the shifter location at. The other hole, you can see I tried. I cut a hole. I was hoping it was going to work, but it's just, you can see if I can learn how to film, get a better angle here. The seat is just completely covering that hole. I really hoped, I didn't want to have to take it all apart and relocate it, but in the end, it worked out awesome. I had this old jack handle in my toolbox. I welded a little bracket onto it, So I can bolt it to the shifter there. Just my little jack handle shifter. T56. The computer. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Oh, it's under the seat. I'll have to film that better another time. But yeah, the computer, little fuse box, all that stuff goes under the seat. The harness kind of goes where all my extra stuff comes from there, up there. It's bad still. I have a lot of buttoning up to do. But I modified the clutch. I've got a little Willwood master cylinder hooked up to the pedal there. Just hole sawed the firewall and mounted the little master cylinder. I had to mount a little reservoir to it. So yeah, it's all hydraulic clutch. Freaking awesome to drive. Way better than that old 1-to-1 high gear 4-speed that was in there. Yeah, it's just a blast. I love it so much. It's so much fun. It wheel hops like a mother. I got to do something with the suspension. I added since this is a rear end out of a S197 Mustang, it has that 3-link setup in those cars. So I used that bushing and I built the upper control arm, as you can see there, to help brace it. But these leaf springs are just so soft that when I get into any kind of power, it wants to grip. And then those springs just start shaking and it wheel hops. And so I haven't been able to really beat on it too much, but in higher gears, it puts the power down and it freaking screams. It's, I mean, 4 times the power it made before. So yeah, it's an absolute blast, but that's it right there. So anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys supporting me. All, like, what, 5 of you now? So I'm gonna try to do some more filming. I had planned on filming this whole swap process, and I like to just work when I'm working on this stuff. It's hard for me to just stop and film and explain, and it's fun to do the few times I've done it. I know I'm not very good at it, so thanks for being good sports and watching. But I usually don't have a whole lot of free time to take the time not only to film, but then editing. Oh my gosh. I'm sure some of you guys that know, I am not skilled or educated at editing at all. So I mean, like, these little short videos I've done in the past, I mean, they take me like an hour or 2 to edit. It's insane. So I mean, all that time, then my family needs time. You know, it's only fair to them. I spend time with them, and with all these projects I'm always doing, that I should spend more time with them. But as the little boy gets older, he'll be able to be out here helping me with this stuff. So that's something to look forward to. But anyway, what I was trying to get to is I'm going to try to film some more stuff as I start doing these other swaps, and as I start doing some upgrades to the suspension. I think I'm going to build some custom lower control arms, and then we'll do like a track bar and some coilovers and make it some really cool parts in there, and make it so I can actually really get into power and have some fun. I'm really thinking about taking it out to do some of those drift activities next year at UMC, Utah Motorsports Campus. I think this truck would be an absolute blast to go show those kids in those little jet cars how it's done with these American powered cars, and to boot with a freaking 1971 International. I mean, holy crap, I bet you've never seen that before, one of these trucks out drifting. So maybe we'll go out and do that if I can get everything set up to where I can handle it. Yeah, like I said, I'll look forward to some more videos. My next video, I'll probably unveil what is in that crate. Maybe you can post some guesses, see what you think I might be doing. And am I going import? I've always wanted to do a Barra. If anybody's familiar with that, that's something I've always wanted to do. Maybe it's that. Maybe could it be a Coyote? Could it be, maybe it's an aftermarket block LS? We'll have to see. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you around. Thanks, guys.